Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I'll bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
The Ticket.
Podcasts are brought to you in part by Lewis Jewelers, the official jeweler of The Ticket and proud partner of Michigan Athletics.
And we are back, folks, here on location at Brighton Ford. Fantastic Friday on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA The Ticket, and the Silver Fox is with us. Joe Simon is in the building from the law offices of Joseph A. Simon. That is right. Joe, tell the folks again about the law offices of Joseph A. Simon.
Full-service criminal defense law firm, Sam. It's all we do. That's our passion. Anything from misdemeanor to felony, Washtenaw County, all surrounding counties. You can find us at themichigandefenders.com, and we're right across the street from Michigan Football Stadium.
So you gave the final argument. There were only a few things that I said, you know what, man? Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. There are only a few things that I look at and I say, hey, coaching attrition up to this year, probably not a sign or a tale of woe, but last year for sure, Harbaugh obviously identified that. It wasn't just defensive changes he made. He made a big change offensively, but they're still the same. It's the same offense with some maybe heavy augmentation when it comes to the run game elements that they're going to introduce this year. Definitely some more power run game in the mix. They're looking for that to be their identity.
Sam, in this offense, if you think of like the three legs of a stool or a tripod, you need a great offensive line, you need a great running back, and you need a great quarterback who's capable of run and pass. That's what makes the offense stand up. Now, if you add great receivers, now you got a table, Sam. Mm-hmm. You got four legs. We have not enjoyed the combination of those three things at the same time yet.
Right.
Arguably, and sadly this may not be saying a lot, this might be our best offensive line coming in terms of depth and continuity. We'll see. Mm-hmm. We definitely have some running back skill. Quarterback, well, it's the great unknown. We'll have to wait and see, right? So the receiver group actually is my most curious part of that. Can we get that fourth leg if we have the first three? Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily have that stretch receiver. It's going to be interesting to see who's our X, when we bring our Z to the line, if we do, who that's going to be. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting thing, but really critically, to be that effective running team, we're going to need those three legs.
Yeah, so this should be, on paper, this offensive line should be more physical. They should be more imposing. They expect to be more physical and more imposing based on what they've seen in practice. Now, I ask the question, and this is of both players and coaches who have said, oh, we're running the football really well, looking really good, we're going to be more physical. Okay, how do you know you aren't just beating up on an overmatched offensive line? And what they say is it is about the execution, blocking the right guys consistently, working in unison and tandem consistently. The sort of the handshake of the offensive lineman is there. And we saw time and time again last year when it wasn't. So that's, that kind of chemistry and cohesion isn't about physicality as much as it is about execution. And so they are executing at a high level in practice. They have a lot of guys with experience now. They have a number of guys who are really, really big and athletic. We'll see if that translates to success. It certainly will make life easier for that quarterback and a lot easier for that running game where you say they have a lot of talent. To me, the biggest question on offense, if they stay healthy on the offensive line, is the quarterback play, because I think they have enough weapons at receiver. I think running back is next to safety is the most talent-laden position on the team. So they got the pieces around the quarterback seemingly in place. What will they get at the quarterback position?
See, that's a great question. And, of course, I'm not there at practice. I don't really have a good handle on that. What I know of Cade McNamara from what I've seen and what I hear is his leadership is good. His moxie is good. I don't know what kind of a runner is. I don't know if he's going to read the right person in conflict. I don't know that he's going to make that offense go in that regard. I do know that I see something in a mechanic thing, and I'm big on throwing mechanics, having coached high school quarterbacks. I know Coach Harbaugh has publicly said he's not big on throwing mechanics. You know, his elbow at release, and this is something I want you to talk about with Al Borges. His elbow at release is below his shoulder level. That's very unusual unless you're Patrick Mahomes, because not too many people can pull this off. Tom Brady would always say you got to have your elbow at release at least you ideally at ear level or above. If your elbow at release is below shoulder level, the ball's barely clearing your head, and he's kind of an outside kind of a sidearm release. That, to me, I am concerned about balls being batted down, and that kind of requires a clean passing lane. So that's something I'm going to be particularly keen on for him, because he's not the tallest guy in the camp. So that's something. But most importantly for this offense, it's going to be his reads. It's going to be, I don't know what kind of capable runner he is.
Yeah, I actually think that that's where J.J. McCarthy comes into the picture. I don't think that you see J.J. McCarthy just in mop-up duty. You hope they have mop-up duty, right?
Right.
We welcome mop-up duty. That's a good thing if they have the opportunity to be ahead and to be getting guys snaps. But I think J.J. is playing when the game is still in doubt. I think that he presents that, not to say that you telegraph that he's going to come in and run, but he brings more of that duality to the position than Cade McNamara does. So he just presents more of a threat.
If we've learned anything about football in the modern era, especially in this offense when quarterbacks are running, you got to have two quarterbacks.
You do.
And so I'm all in favor of that, not just because of mopped-up duty or not just, like you said, a designated runner and designated thrower. You're going to need that game reps for him. It's just going to be a thing that's necessary.
So let's get into some of your defensive questions because coming up we're going to be introducing a new member of our team of analysts here that really going to focus on the trenches. And that's where maybe when I look at the defensive side of the ball, that's where my concern starts on the interior line for the defense. What say you, Counselor?
Well, it's a very good concern, Sam. The good news is in the first two games, we're going to have all the answers we need. So this defense should be built to answer Western, who's a potent offense, pretty well. We're going to get that answer. Then the following week, we got a different offense, and we're going to get the questions answered. So look, when I grew up, Michigan was always running the three interior linemen. They used to call it a 5-2 defense, but their ends were true ends. And you know, I always say that last year you guys 2 years ago got me to meet Billy Taylor. My first Michigan sports hero of all was Billy Taylor. My second one, Sam, was a guy named Tim Davis. If you guys ever get to meet Tim Davis, who played the middle guard position, Tim was small, quick, and lightning. Back then, what they would do with their three interiors is they would slant and let the linebackers fill. They were kind of gap constrictors. How will they use those three interior linemen in this new scheme? I'm not sure. It could be a similar scheme, or they may do that sometime. It's going to be interesting because this kind of a front requires superior, not good, superior linebacker play. And that's where I'm almost more concerned about outside linebacker, inside linebackers than I am the line. The only thing that really concerns me about the line, Sam, is depth.
Yeah, man, I think you look at depth on the interior line, we'll see. I mean, you know, Mozzie Smith stepping up in that nose role. You brought in Jordan Whitley. He didn't play last year. He came in at about 380. You got down to about 360 at the start of camp. You hope he's in better shape. We got to see what the depth looks like with game reps. And I feel the same way according to look. You look. I like the depth at safety. I like the depth at linebacker. I think they have edge guys that when you start with Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, you're going to be Taylor Upshaw has played some already, and they feel good about him. Mike Morris, is a guy who they think is ready to flash as a defensive end. They have guys on the edges They have guys at the linebacker position that are legit too deep, and at safety. But at corner and defensive tackle, those are very big question marks for this team, Joe. So you look at, to me, in this game versus Western, it's corner. Against Washington, it's that interior line. To your point, we're going to get big answers on both of those big question marks in these first two games.
So one thing that I'm hopeful about this year with respect to corner, it's, players last year were put in uncomfortable conflict with things they weren't particularly good at the corner position. In the new scheme, will we be allowing a scheme that makes them do the best of what they can do? I think that's going to be true. I hope that's going to be true because we don't have, Revis Island. We don't have guys that we can just put out there and be lockdown corners. It'll be interesting to see how we deploy them. With respect to the Hutchinson and the edge, our big problems the last couple of years on defense have been crosses and edge play. And I do think that this scheme is designed to address that. Mm-hmm. How it plays out, we're going to get an answer tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. This is a team that, we were talking to Patrick Nothaff from the Kalamazoo Gazette about this Western Michigan offense. RPO-based, up-tempo. They move up and down the field at a quick pace. They lit up the scoreboard last year. And he said but it was all MAC schedule. They were just going against MAC defenses. Michigan's defense was like a MAC defense last year, right? So
no question.
that didn't give me any calm or confidence based on the fact that they did that against MAC level defenses last year. Still have major questions about this corner group and whether or not they will need to break that glass in case of emergency with Dax Hill. It remains to be seen, Joe. I want to get sort of your outlook. Give me your seasonal outlook, because coming up, we are going to talk a little more about the trenches with a former lineman from the University of Michigan. And unique in that he played both offensive and defensive line at the University of Michigan, covered him from high school to college at the University of Michigan, and now he's off in the private sector. But Jack Miller coming on to break down the trenches with us every Tuesday morning at 7:05 in his Between the Line segment, talking offensive and defensive line play every single week. Joe, give me your outlook on this season. Kind of broad brush it and broad stroke it for me.
Yeah, Sam, people have been asking me that and how many wins and what I think. And my stock answer has been if they'd let me watch practices, I might be able to give you an intelligent answer. But and so I'm not trying to hedge, but I do think that every question we have is going to be, in terms of outlook, will be answered in the first two games. And so ask me then. and I hope to be able to provide a real intelligent answer to that.
I tell people I feel confident. I feel more optimistic about the offensive line play translating to the season, because much of the issue or the issues that we saw manifest last year could be tied back to injuries. Vastardis couldn't bend over by the end of the season. Ryan Hayes is dealing with a toe injury. Stuber's coming off an ACL, right? Zach Zenner, I'm surprised he even got on the field in the last game. He tried to play a series and, couldn't do it because he was hurt. Injuries affected him. Defensive back-wise, that wasn't an injury thing. So everything that I hear about, hey, corners are looking more consistent, I got to see that under game action before I draw any optimism about what I'm hearing out of practice.
I couldn't agree with you more. And, Sam, I really appreciate what you said about injuries last year, but the O-line issues predated even last season. So, but the question on offense is, are we going to be an offense that can score 40 points? 35, 40 points consistently. Are we going to be that offense? We're going to need to be that offense. That's what's required today.
Yeah, so we got Jack Miller on hold right now. And so what we'll do is we'll get to a break. We'll come back on the other side with Jack with our Between the Lines segment. Joe, tell the folks one more time about the law offices of Joseph A. Simon.
Sam, you can find us at the MichiganDefenders.com. We're available here in Washtenaw County and all surrounding counties. Nothing but criminal defense from misdemeanor to felony. Also, again, I want to remind people about the new expungement laws. First offense drunk driving offenses can be expunged for the first time in Michigan history. We're absolutely happy to help with that. And Sam, I'm also going to be in the tent tomorrow. Looking forward to that. What a privilege to be back in person and enjoying a game day. I can't wait.
All right. Joe Simon, the law offices of Joseph A. Simon. We got to get to a break. Back on the other side. Fantastic Friday live from Brighton Ford here on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket.